this. Those who are seeking to be given high offices of political power, those who are seeking to be given the fiduciary trust of the people, they should take note of this. You don't look good in the eyes of discerning people if you support a certain conduct that accept the belief or the practice that anybody who is given the mandate to govern or anybody who is appointed a minister can do anything and decide to stay away. If he chooses not to come, so be it. We shouldn't talk about it. I hear a lot of people saying, but if he's not coming, leave him. You can try him there. It is not good in terms of the optics. I'm a student of political accountability, and there are so many mechanisms for demanding accountability and for ensuring accountability. Asking him to come and face the law is one. And so if I see those people who are seeking to be elected to power, those people who are seeking to be given the public fiduciary trust, arguing or insinuating that if he's not coming, leave him, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make you look good. And it is a slap in the face of our quest to project accountability as one cardinal principle of democratic rule.
Do you feel bad that your finance minister, former finance minister, is being held in a detention in the US? And now by 19 February, when they are going to hear again, we are not even too sure if he will get the bail.
I felt so sad, I was almost teary when I saw him walk to his chair, took off his cardigan. I think he couldn't even hang it well. He just put it, and then he sat down quietly listening to what was going on. And later, when I think you guys were running a program commentary on it, and when there was a question as to whether he's going to be left out of the hook, at least to go in to his own residence, so that processes will go on. And we're told that no, he's going to remain in detention for up to April. And like you rightly said, in Ghana here, who will do that to you? Regardless of the expectation, let me tell you, people are having higher expectations. One of the reasons why President Mahama had this kind of votes in the election was the belief that the system has been so corrupted and the system is so rotten, and that there is the need for the country to be reset. Okay, and one area for the reset was to deal with those who have misconducted themselves, those who have looted our monies, and that's how we had oral and all that. And so the expectations are high that something must be done. Otherwise, the future of the Fourth Republican democratic practice cannot be guaranteed. If you don't do something for all to see, we cannot guarantee. Why was it that at one point in time, we were threatened with military coups? Everybody was sitting on a tent. The way things were going, people felt that the soldiers could intervene. Now there is calm, but people are watching, and they are expecting that something would happen, and with the view to bring in those who may have done some of these things in looting our resources or in taking decisions that may have imposed a certain hardship on the people, would face a certain process that would ensure that there is justice. But I'm saying regardless of the expectations that people have, I don't think that Ghanaians would support that we quote and unquote incarcerate our former finance minister behind bars for 3 months.
Now he's losing some sympathy that he had initially, where we're all saying, oh, a man who is unwell, why are you chasing him, and so on. Now people are doing demonstrations, and the lawyers in America are even telling us that the demonstrations can actually be counterproductive, because he could use the argument that this is a political persecution. That's why in the country people are demonstrating.
Well, if truly people close to him are telling us that he wants to come, and so if he wants to come, then I do not expect him to use that as an excuse that, look, I may face political persecution. He is well aware of that kind of culture in Ghana that keeps us together even when we disagree. Okay, that kind of culture we have in Ghana that says that regardless of our political differences, you have one house where a man is MPP, a woman is NDC, and we peacefully coexist. Okay, so I'm thinking that his interests will be better protected if he comes to his country.
So we're told that Sedina Tamaklo, the fugitive who has already been sentenced to 10 years and she's not available, we're told by the embassy in the US that her hearing for the extradition was supposed to be on 21st. And now they've been sort of blocked out. So there's no information, and so we have heard nothing. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel that, look, they should all come and face the law. If you run afoul of the law must take its course. Justice must be served. And I don't see why suddenly we are allowing other people. I mean, even in those countries, even when you haven't done anything wrong, look at the way they treat you. Even when you have not done anything wrong. I had several opportunities when I was done with my PhD to teach in some of these countries. But I said I would not be in somebody's country where I'll be treated as a second-class citizen. I would come and serve my country. And so my point is that even when you have not done anything wrong, see how they treat you. So why will you want to be in somebody's country to be maltreated? And for me, it's an embarrassment to Ghana for our former finance minister to be subjected to that kind of inhuman treatment.
Hassan, again, the OSP started this process, and now where are we now? We were all saying we don't believe in the OSP. When the OSP, they were saying that they don't trust him when he says that he was going to treat himself and will be back. When they said they don't trust him, now he's proved them right, and now there are calls on you to bring him back. Otherwise, your political fortunes are affected heavily.
But you see, Samson, this matter. Sometime in June last year, that's when Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta went for his surgery at the Mayo Clinic. And the records were there. Any person could have verified the veracity or otherwise of that. After undergoing the surgery, I'm sure most of the time you'll find that people have some recuperating period and so on and so forth. Yeah, it may have gone past that period because it's been 6 months now, I believe. It may have gone past that period. But you see, they say that the first law of nature is what? Self-preservation. I am just conjecturing, right? And allow me to do some conjecture. If I see the way and manner that people like Wuntumi and then Osesibe and all of that have been arrested, and then bail conditions, onerous bail conditions are put on them and so on and so forth. And sometimes, I don't know whether the NSS chief executive has even been left to go. The one who had the 800 million bail.
They are all on bail now.
They are all on bail. No, he was granted the bail, but he couldn't even meet the bail conditions.
Yes, I think it got reduced. Yeah, I think it's twice or so.
200 million and all of that.
Twice or so.
Is he still not in custody?
I think now.
He's still in custody. He's still in custody.
Really?
Let's check.
He couldn't meet the bail conditions.
Because he's not meeting bail conditions. It's not that he has been denied bail.
You understand? That's what I was talking about. The onerous bail conditions. You understand? So all of these things, they don't, go to motivate somebody like that to come. And I'm just speaking, from my perspective. But what is important is that there's too much politicization of, a simple criminal matter. Now, if you look at the case of Sedina Tamaklo, when she absconded, Attorney General didn't make any fuss. There was no press conference. There was nothing. And until recently, I didn't even know that there was an extradition request that was put in by the Attorney General.
You are not following the news.
No, at the time, it even just became public.
No, it had been public. I had interviewed Alfred Choi-Yeboah like twice.
What I'm saying is that until now, many people did not know that there was even an extradition request. You see, what is important is that we can pursue this case even without the physical presence of, Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta. So sometimes you wonder what's going on. It's just sometimes much ado about nothing.
Really?
It's not easy to extradite people like that. Oh. You remember when...
Is it not easy for you to tell him to come?
Of course, if I have deep apprehension that you are going to trample on my rights, I have every right to decide whether I can take this risk or not.
Those
but you see,
rights been trampled.
Oh, but Professor, you are distracting me. You're distracting me. There is this minister for petroleum in Nigeria who left office with President Goodluck Jonathan. Alison Desani Alison Madueke. Yes. She's been in the US and UK courts off and on, and there's been an extradition request since 2015. They have been able to go make searches, charge her for all manner of offenses, bribery, corruption, seize properties, and so on and so forth. But the extradition, to date, EFCC has not been able to get the extradition for her to be brought into the country. So you proceed with the trial.
How do you proceed with a trial? He's been charged.
Yes.
There is a summons.
Yes.
The summons will be served on him. If it is served on him and then he refuses to honor the summons, there will be an arrest warrant, a bench warrant on him.
Yes.
Then he'll be looked for and arrested. If he is not found, then you say the process can go on. But you can't say that the prosecutor starting the process should say, oh, he's unavailable, so let's go.
But see,
it's not done.
The reality is that he's unavailable.
No.
And there are remedies under the law.
He's available, refusing to make himself present.
Technically, he's not available. Because if he was available,
he's available to the US government, but not available.
You don't necessarily have to have the person physically present. And there are remedies under the law for you to proceed.
You are worried
without necessarily, going through all these
questions have been asked. What kind of a republic do you want? No, that people can do anything they want and jump on the next flight and say whatever you want, do at my back.
And you have people like you saying that it doesn't.
No, but people have issues with somebody who is yet to be tried. Hold, please. You have issues with somebody who is yet to be tried, but you don't have issues with somebody who was on trial and has actually been convicted. And she's run away out of the country.
Who don't have issues
you're not spending time on the...
Why are they not...
You're not spending time on the lady.
It's high profile.
You're not spending time on the...
No, exactly what do you mean? Because, wait. Let's avoid that. Let's avoid that obfuscation and misleading of the public.
It looks like there's too much attention.
The Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana began an extradition process.
Yes.
Godfred Dame began an extradition process.
Yes.
For Sedina Tamaklo. What else has to be done?
No, I'm saying...
what else has to be done?
So we have people demonstrating. We have the people demonstrating at the U.S. Embassy. That one is low-hanging fruit.
Okay.
Why are they not demonstrating about that one too? So all of these things, I'm building a point. You have turned what would have been pure criminal case into a political persecution.
Who has?
Hold. There are people, NDC apparatchiks, who are out there, and people who are Ken, who are pro-NDC, who are out there demonstrating. You are building a certain point for the U.S. Embassy people or even the American government to believe that, look, this is not just any simple criminal case. It looks like there are political undercurrents. You understand? So if Ken now is building his case on the point that, look, all of this thing is about political persecution. Look, you make him build a very
strong case for himself. Is that something that is believable from where you sit?
You make him build a very strong case for himself.
You, as a lawyer and former minister and in parliament, is that proposition something you believe?
No, it's a proposition that is available for anybody to believe.
No,
and
it's
he
you
can make
I'm asking.
That case.
It's you I'm asking.
No, I'm saying that, look, you are doing a case, and every part of the case is in the public domain. And then you are making it look like, without Ken, look, all these oral cases, the 200 million or 20 billion or so amount that is supposed to be gotten cannot be got.
If he had made himself available, will there be all of this drama?
For instance, well, that is out there for the jury to decide. But for instance, what is the real case for Ken to answer?
You haven't seen the SML case?
That's the SML case.
That one we are told is even a tip of the iceberg.
And so why are the other cases? So currently, before the judge, the immigration judge, the Department of Homeland Security goes there to talk about the bill application. And now they themselves introduce an issue regarding the fact that Ken is being pursued under an extradition request before the judge. So the judge was hearing for the first time. So look, but I don't have any formal documents before me. All right? And they presented only BBC reports and then some newspaper, cuttings as proof. Now you have to come. So in this country, apart from that particular SML case, is there any other substantive case?
The Attorney General says yes.
But there's no case. Has there any case been filed?
Says he's been under investigation.
So investigation is not, charge sheets. You need charge sheet. Charge sheet is the foundation of all of this.
How do you arrive at a charge sheet?
Samson.
Investigations lead to a charge sheet.
So, and they haven't been able to finish the investigations. And you want the man in. Look, proof to Ghanaians. You are talking about, for instance, National Cathedral. National Cathedral, what is the wrongdoing? Forensic reports have been conducted. And even the Attorney General has made comments about that. Where is the wrongdoing? Where is the smoking gun? I'm speaking now, I'm even confused because I want to know exactly what case beyond the SML case that Ken is supposed to answer. And we're so fixated about him coming to Ghana, being extradited and so on and so forth. Look, you can proceed, you can tick all the boxes, and you can secure conviction without necessarily having the man, in this country.
That should become the norm.
And I think
that should become the norm.
That cannot be the norm because in fact it is.
You hit a person on the road. You kill them.
In fact,
you kill them. The police person says, "Oh, I've taken his number. Go rest."
In fact,
we'll go to court. Is that how it should be done?
In fact, it is one of two exceptions since this Fourth Republic started. Yesterday, Natamaklo and Ken Ofori-Atta that we are seeing are being requested to come and account for their political, stewardship. And then we are having these challenges about extraditing them before we were able to do this case. But I'm saying that, look, we have politicized the case so much so that we have even fortified this case in the US. And I would not be surprised that this case, becomes a foolish case, especially regarding the extradition.
A foolish case.
You have made the case so political that even the US government will be thinking twice before they can.
Dr. Bomfeh,
allow it.
What are you seeing? What has been your reading? And I haven't heard you comment about this, or I haven't followed you for a long time as far as this issue has been on the front burner.
It's tiring following theater in Ghana. We're becoming a nation of theater. First of all, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama did not make any significant difference in his votes between 2020 and 2024. For the records, he had an increase of about 60,000.
Oh, you're going back to the old.
No, I'm just making
discussion.
a point. I'm just making a point.
Okay.
It's important that we establish certain truths. President Mahama was not significantly gathering additional votes in 2024 from what he had in 2020. That record must be clear. Two. Yeah, exactly. And if, well, I beg you. I'm just making that point. Something you see, you know better than I do that successful prosecution goes through a process. And parties succeed or fail in securing prosecution or verdicts based on their conduct in the rules of engagement in that process and fidelity to the law, to the extent that when they are dissatisfied with the outcome, they have rights of appeal to certain levels. Why are we sitting here talking that you have misappropriated public funds, come and account for it, and you are running away from it? And that means you are running from accountability. Is that the case?
Then what should the people think?
As I sit here, it's not about what the people should think. It's about what narrative we put out there. Especially those of us who are privileged and opportuned to speak on national matters, no matter what we feel. If I were Ken Ofori-Atta, and I'm happy I'm not him, I won't get myself into this. And if Ken Ofori-Atta was thinking the way I am thinking, this matter would not have reached where it has reached. what is annoying and disgusting, we sat in this country when a president-elect without constitutional authority set up a so-called aura. And so fixated with accountability, we did not question it. What power did President-elect Mahama have to appoint aura? Did he? Tell me, within the constitution. None. But he did it.
It's a campaign promise.
Because they campaigned on that. That aura has virtually been subsumed into some legality because the Attorney General says it's working.
Aura doesn't exist.
I'm saying
the
what they did.
It does not exist.
Hold on. Come on. That's a fluke. You are rather empowering my point. That today, that so-called oral has died out.
Really?
But where is it? But you are saying it.
The
committee doesn't exist.
Committee.
Yes, but what about their report? It's been subsumed by the Attorney General to work with.
To investigate.
To what end? So what was the politics about it all about? Something. To get successful prosecution requires due diligence, patience, soberness or sobriety, and careful tact, diligence. It's not the political noise.
Where is that missing?
It's missing in it's missing in this.
How?
Now tell me, this hula baloo about Ken must come. If he doesn't come, as if we are disabled by law to get to justice, the overall questions of accountability. My understanding was that he's even represented by lawyers in this matter. And that with the question I'm asking is, have they responded to the charges that have been leveled against him? Those are the issues that should be of concern to us. And what are their responses? We are not concerned about those things.
There's no requirement in law, in criminal law, that when a charge sheet is put in the court,
yes,
a lawyer should file a response.
You can even decide that at the end of their prosecuting, you say that there's no case for you to answer. And the judge, you know that. So why? Why is it that we are making it as if that person is exercising his rights under our very constitution, as you have very much said, then it means he's running away from accountability.
The correction I was seeking to make is that if today the court called a number of people charged with a particular offense, a lawyer cannot walk to the courtroom and say, I represent Samson Adi.
Yes.
When Samson is not in the courtroom. When Samson is not in the courtroom.
When Samson has not appointed you to represent him.
No, in criminal law, the person appears.
Yes.
And then you, the lawyer, appear
to represent the person.
To say, my name is Samson, I'm representing Gyampo Bomfeh. And Kwabna must be there.
Present.
Without that, it doesn't work.
Samson, I'm saying that, but our laws anticipated, or the framers of our constitution anticipated that there will be somebody who, facing criminal charges or trial, may abscond or run away and remedy that by possible trial in absentia. The law has also made provision for that. And I'm saying that overall, we want Ken to come. All these conversations, and I think my senior Tampuli was making that point, all these conversations are building up data that may be serving the interest of Ken Ofori-Atta, whom if I am interested, if we are all interested in he coming down to account for it, the noise should reduce. And let's focus on the substance, not the form. The substance is that we have uncovered, or Attorney General is making us believe, that the man in serving as finance minister erred or went against the laws of our land. So there's a case against him. Even if Ken appeared before the investigative body, he reserves the right not to cooperate. He can come and refuse to talk because he will not help you to build your case against him. We know all these things. And yet we are making it look like the success of the case or the trial against him depends on his presence here. I refuse to accept that theory. And I'm saying that accountability is not only about somebody's term coming to an end and we finding out ABCD. I have issues with even the OSP's office.
But do you know that? Do you know that this refrain?
Yes.
Sometimes I think, and even some lawyers who are politically aligned have miseducated the public. So when you go before an investigative body, the law says you're entitled not to speak.
Yes.
You can say you don't want to talk.
Yes.
But you are not entitled not to write where you are required to write that you don't want to speak.
Yes.
And that writing representation itself is essential to the criminal process. So the fact that you go there and you don't talk doesn't mean that you will not have to write. There's a caution statement. Yes. And the caution statement says, the caution statement actually tells you that you are entitled not to say anything.
Samson, I'm saying that the framers of our constitution anticipated all these possibilities being swerved by a cunning offender of the law.
Yes, but there's a process.
I'm coming. I'm saying that.
You don't start a case with I try in absentia. You start a case with several processes, and then when they fail, then you may trigger that one.
Samson, under this country's jurisprudence and what constitutional and legal history, criminal trial that we have, the three boys who were suspected of murdering the High Court judges in 1982, how were they tried and convicted to death? Who are supposed to be brought to face justice, the death penalty, and yet they are at large all these years. How were they tried? Wasn't it in absentia? My point is that what we are saying, whether Ken comes or doesn't come, the overall object of what we are seeking to do is accountability for his office. That office he held in and on behalf of the president who appointed him, who had our mandate as a people, true or false. Mm-hmm. The president himself is not immune from prosecution or questioning under this constitution within 3 years of expiration of his term, true or false. So when we make it look as if without Ken Ofori-Atta's presence, we cannot get accountability for his office or his tenure, I reject that proposition. I may be wrong, but I'm saying that I reject that proposition. And I have spoken to well-seasoned and reasoned persons knowledgeable in the practice and the theories of the